The cage is empty, the wheel is still moving, and somewhere in this room, a 4-inch long animal has vanished so completely that I am currently on my hands and knees at 11 p.m. with a flashlight, questioning several of my life choices. If you own a hamster, this is not a rare event. This is Tuesday. Today we're doing a full, official ranking of every hiding spot my hamster has ever used, from mildly annoying all the way up to genuinely, suspiciously genius. Let's get into it. Ranking my hamster's hiding spots from sneaky to genius. Tier: mildly sneaky inside the toilet paper roll tube. Starting things off at the low end of the difficulty scale, the toilet paper roll. This is hamster hide and seek for beginners. It's an obvious cardboard tube, sitting in plain view, and yet somehow it works every single time, mostly because the tube is roughly the exact same diameter as the hamster, creating what I can only describe as a very committed game of, if I can't see you, you can't see me. Sneakiness rating, 3 out of 10, solid effort, 0 creativity. Tier: mildly sneaky, under a single sheet of bedding. Next, the classic, bury yourself under 1 inch of bedding and hope for the best approach. This one technically works because hamsters are burrowing animals by nature, and even a shallow layer is enough to break up their outline. It's not exactly a masterclass in stealth though, especially when the bedding is still very obviously moving up and down with every breath. Sneakiness rating, 4 out of 10. Instinct is doing all the work here, not strategy. Tier: respectable behind the water bottle, press flat against the glass. Now we're getting somewhere. Press flat against the glass, directly behind the water bottle, at an angle that makes it nearly invisible, unless you're looking for precisely the right spot in the room. This one requires actual positional awareness, an understanding of where the human's eye line usually is, and a decision to specifically avoid it. Sneakiness rating, 6 out of 10, genuinely made me do a double take. Tier: respectable inside a shoe, left by the door. This one only works because of a critical security failure on my part. A hamster ball left unattended near an open shoe rack. Somehow, in the time it took me to answer the door, an entire hamster relocated from a see-through plastic ball into the depths of a running shoe. The logistics alone deserve some credit. This wasn't luck, this was opportunity. Correctly identified and swiftly exploited. Sneakiness rating, 6.5 out of 10. Bonus points for speed. Tier: respectable, wedged behind the couch cushion. The couch cushion gap is a fan favorite for a reason. Dark, narrow, warm, and completely inaccessible without fully dismantling the couch. Multiple search and rescue missions in this household have ended specifically at this exact location, usually accompanied by the horrifying realization that this same gap has probably been used dozens of times before, without me ever knowing. Sneakiness rating, 7 out of 10. Structurally excellent hiding real estate. Tier: impressive inside a rolled up blanket on the floor. This is where the difficulty really starts climbing. A rolled up blanket, left on the floor for maybe 90 seconds, somehow became a fully occupied hiding spot in that exact window. The genius here isn't really the location. Blankets are an obvious hiding spot in hindsight, it's the timing. A window of less than 2 minutes, correctly identified and used immediately, without hesitation. Sneakiness rating, 8 out of 10. Elite opportunism. Tier: impressive behind a stack of books on a low shelf. This one requires actual climbing, actual navigation, and an actual decision to squeeze into a gap that, from the outside, doesn't even look like it should fit a hamster at all. Hamsters are surprisingly strong and capable climbers for their size, and this spot is proof. A low shelf, several books deep, chosen specifically because it required effort most humans would assume a hamster simply wouldn't bother making. Sneakiness rating, 8.5 out of 10. This was planned, not stumbled into. This one requires actual climbing, actual navigation, and an actual decision to squeeze into a gap that, from the outside, doesn't even look like it should fit a hamster at all. Hamsters are surprisingly strong and capable climbers for their size, and this spot is proof. A low shelf, several books deep, chosen specifically because it required effort most humans would assume a hamster simply wouldn't bother making. Sneakiness rating, 8.5 out of 10. This was planned, not stumbled into. Tier: genuinely genius. Inside my actual slipper, while I was wearing the other one. This is where the ranking shifts from sneaky to something closer to unsettling. A single slipper, left by the couch while I wore its matching pair around the house, somehow became occupied without me noticing for nearly 20 minutes. The sheer audacity of choosing a spot this close to an active, moving human and getting away with it completely undetected pushes this well past simple hiding and into genuine tactical planning. Sneakiness rating, 9 out of 10. Tier, genuinely genius. Somehow, back inside the cage, in a spot I'd already checked. This is the one that broke me a little. A full, frantic 15-minute search of the entire house, multiple rooms checked twice, only to return to the cage I had already checked at the very start of the search, and find the hamster sitting calmly in a corner of the hamster house. I apparently didn't look closely enough at the first time. Either this hamster relocated back to the cage entirely undetected mid-search, or was there the entire time and I simply failed as a detective. Neither option reflects well on me. Sneakiness rating, 9.5 out of 10. Deeply humbling. Tier, genuinely genius. The spot I never actually found, and the number one spot on this entire ranking is, technically, unranked, because I genuinely never found it. After an hour of searching one particular evening, I sat down, gave up, and started considering how to explain this to my family. And then, roughly 10 minutes later, the hamster simply reappeared near the food bowl, completely calm, entirely unbothered, offering no explanation whatsoever as to where it had been. Sneakiness rating, immeasurable. This spot remains to this day, completely undocumented. Bonus segment. Why are hamsters so good at this? Quick real explanation, since there's genuine biology behind how good hamsters are at this. Hamsters are natural burrowers with a strong instinct to seek out small, enclosed, dark spaces, since in the wild that behavior is directly tied to avoiding predators. Their bodies are also remarkably flexible, with a loose, soft-boned build that lets them squeeze through gaps that look, to the human eye, physically impossible. Combine that instinct with genuinely excellent low-light vision and a strong sense of smell to navigate once hidden, and you end up with an animal that is, frankly, built from the ground up to disappear. Safety note. One genuinely important practical note here, since this topic isn't purely comedic. A hamster loose in the house isn't just funny, it can actually be dangerous for them. Hamsters can get into wall gaps, behind appliances, near electrical cords, or into spaces they can't get back out of on their own, and a determined hamster can squeeze through smaller openings than most people expect. If you're letting your hamster roam in a hamster ball or supervised play area, it's worth double-checking the room for gaps under doors, open vents, or exposed cords beforehand, and keeping other pets out of the room during playtime. A little prevention goes a long way toward turning genius hiding spot back into funny story instead of a real emergency. So there it is, a full humbling ranking of every hiding spot my hamster has used against me, from a basic cardboard tube all the way up to a disappearance I genuinely never solved. If your own tiny pet has a signature hiding spot that's humbled you the same way, tell us about it in the comments, because at this point I need to know I'm not the only one losing these battles regularly. And if you enjoyed this one, check out our video on the 10 weird dog behaviors that are actually totally normal. Turns out small, sneaky, and completely unbothered by your feelings is a running theme across this entire channel. Subscribe for weekly pet health and behavior videos. Stay positive. See you in the next one.